Hello and welcome back to Sportsnet. Lakers driven by your Southern California Honda dealers. I'm Chris McGee. I got James Worthy, Robert Ory, Mike Bresnahan. We got Mike Trudeau handling the post-game duties. Lakers lose. They're now 4 games under 500. They lose to a Blazers team that basically traded away almost their entire team. Brutal loss, and as Billy and Stu said, kind of the low point of the season, Big Game.
Yeah, this is the lowest point of just about any season I've seen as a Laker over the years. I don't have any words for it because we've used all our words up. We saw Milwaukee come in and we thought maybe, okay, that'll be a measuring game, you know, against a good team, and we saw what happened. And then against Portland, a team of, you know, professional players, but it was almost like they were playing against, you know, a local YMC pickup group of guys. And I think it just goes to show you how deeply mentally disconnected and the inability to fire your brain up for a game that you know you should win, or for any game for that matter, shows that there's a really tough virus going on with this team right now that I don't know what the medicine is, but this was really bad. To get outplayed, to have Portland to have more points in the paint, more fast break points, all the categories that are like effort stuff lets me know that this team has a serious problem. And so I don't know what they're going to do to get out of it, but tonight's game really denotes like a really bad thing with this team right now. I don't know what it is.
You know, it's almost like the Lakers. You know, you say sometimes you got to put your antennas up. It's like someone took their antennas.
Yeah.
They don't go out with any sense of urgency. They don't go out with a lot of energy. It's almost if like they say, okay, we the LA Lakers. You know, we got LeBron James, AD, Carmelo Anthony, Westbrook. We can turn this switch off and on when we get ready. But you got to understand, that might have worked on other teams. But the Lakers can have the best players in the world or the worst players in the world. You're the Lakers. Team's gonna want to beat you regardless of what your crew is that's out there on the court. And if you watch the way Portland played, they came out with a lot of energy. They was moving defensively, and they shared the basketball, and they had a lot of backdoor cuts. They played smart basketball. They like, as soon as the Lakers turned their head, they went backdoor, they got layups, got points in the paint. They was active with their hands defensively. They did a lot of little things that the Lakers don't do because the Lakers, they stand around and watch on offensive, and defensively they have a tendency to play with their hands down and don't get enough tip balls.
They basically put the ball in a young man's hands, Anthony Simons. They kept Nurkic, and they still have Dame, who's not playing. And it was just a bunch of guys that played hard, Brez, and competed. And they started to believe that they could win.
Covered this team for 18 years, flew 1 million miles on United Airlines, mostly to go wherever this team was playing. And indeed, I don't remember a loss like this. Got a microphone issue here. I'm going to put it back up.
That's good talent right there, putting it up while you're talking. Yeah.
This is a disturbing loss, period. You know, I don't remember one like this. I remember devastating losses. You know, Game 6 in the 2008 NBA Finals, losing by 39 to Boston. That was a tough one for the franchise. This is completely different. This team gave up on its season 5 days ago when they dealt Norman Powell and Robert Covington to the Clippers. They were making a trade as I was almost getting in the car coming to work today, another trade. They made one yesterday as well and flipped a couple of those guys from that trade. This team, I don't even, Greg Brown III, Trendon Watford, these are the guys who were kind of leading that charge in the fourth quarter. I didn't know who they were. Now I do. They went to Texas. They went to LSU, these two guys. Now I'm familiar with them. But, yeah, this, James, like you said, I don't know what the cure is. This is a really bad loss for the Lakers.
It was interesting when James came in after halftime because Allie was sitting here at halftime, and I was in the conference room, and I was just kind of doing my notes, and I was like, big game. The Lakers have 11 threes. Portland has 1. The Lakers are literally plus 30 at halftime in three-point shooting. You should be up 20, but they're only up 7. And he said points in the paint, turnovers, started going down the whole list. So here's how it ended up. 58-40 points in the paint for Portland. 21 turnovers for the Lakers. 28 Portland points off of that. Fast break points against this team. You just named the guys. 28-4.
That's effort. That's all effort, because when you turn it over, you're not getting back on transition defense. And so to not be able to match effort, and that's been all season. It's just gotten worse. But it's been all season, especially at the beginning of the first quarter. They just, I don't know what they're waiting on. But at this point, it's misery. It's misery. It's misery, man.
You know, I mean,
tough.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, I was done.
But it goes to show you something when these quote-unquote smart guys who think they know basketball, and they talk about analytics. They talk about knocking down threes. This is the perfect example. It's not about threes. It's about energy. It's about efforts and putting the ball in the basket. We all know three is more than two.
Yeah.
But if I get more twos in your threes, it's a wrap. And if I get easier shots than you, it's a wrap. And Portland proved that tonight by these young guys who was energetic and just got there playing basketball and having a good time. And they showed that tonight by just beating the Lakers down with points in the paint and just outballing them.
If you're going to turn the ball over, Rob, you're right. It doesn't matter how many threes you make, because when we were looking at that stat at halftime, Portland had, 15, 16 more possessions. They had just as many field goals, right? Tonight, 15 more field goal attempts.
Yeah, and it's not like this is all of a sudden like a stunning display by the Lakers. Look at the last couple games. Down 21 in the second quarter to New York. They were able to get by that. They won in overtime. Down 30 in the third quarter last night to Milwaukee. Late run, get within 10, sort of forgotten a little bit. But tonight, though, you see what really is happening. This team is disjointed. I'm not sure. It's not going to get any easier, James. You got Golden State on the road on Saturday. Then you come back home and play Utah next week. And then you start the All-Star break. You're talking about number 2 in the West, number 4 in the West. We keep talking about how tough the schedule is the rest of the way. And we said before the game, you have to win this game.
Yeah.
Portland's a 9-point underdog. You got to step on them. You got to get a win when you can. Rob, you want to talk?
I just want to say, can we not use that word ever again?
Which one?
You know, your favorite word.
Winnable.
Thank you.
I avoided it. I avoided it.
We said it tonight, and I looked at you like, hold on, is this an NBA team? And every time we use that word, it's like a jinx to us. So we should ban that word from the studio.
You're not allowed to say winnable games when we show the calendar anymore on Spectrum Sportsnet.